Good evening, Love Bay family, and welcome to the Mashup Hour on the Mental Health Hour, where Barbershop Tuesday and Real Talk collide for one powerful 2 hour episode. I'm your host, Felicia Fishoff, registered psychotherapist and founder of Rooted in Resilience Psychotherapy and Wellness, where we believe that healing happens in community, in conversation, and in the courage to show up as your whole self. Tonight, we're diving into a topic many of us know all too well: family dynamics on 100. Navigating triggers, traditions, and tensions during the holidays. Because let's be honest, December can bring joy, but it can also bring pressure, expectations, bring up old wounds, and family patterns that jump out at the most inconvenient times. And I'm not exploring this topic alone. I am joined by our incredible panel featuring both the Real Talk Queens and our Baba Shop Tuesday Kings. Matthew Paris, software engineer, creative entrepreneur, and digital strategist, co-founder of In Development. Matthew brings a grounded, human-centered lens to conversations about identity, stress, and what it means to show up authentically during the holiday season. Kunle Ifabi, registered social worker and psychotherapist with 9 years of experience across community mental health, schools, public health, and private practice. Kunle creates empowering spaces where men can speak freely and unpack the emotional weight they often carry alone. Andrew Peterkin, registered psychotherapist, who brings warmth, honesty, and deep cultural insight to conversations about masculinity, family, and emotional safety. His work helps men rewrite their stories and reconnect with their strength. Gavin George, software engineer, co-founder of In Development, creative and community voice, who brings empathy, introspection, and storytelling to his conversations. Gavin speaks truth about real life pressures, family expectations, and the hidden emotional labor many of us hold. Charlene Lex, registered psychotherapist known for her heart centered and trauma informed approach. Charlene brings wisdom around emotional boundaries, communication, and navigating complex relationships with compassion. Shanique Edwards, registered psychotherapist who brings warmth, clarity, and insight into how family patterns, cultural expectations, and generational cycles shape our mental health, especially during the holidays. Tonight, our powerhouse panel will unpack why going home can bring both comfort and chaos, how boundaries get tested this time of year, generational patterns that resurface when everyone's under one roof, what it means to protect your peace, even around family, and how to show up as your authentic self without losing yourself in the process. But before we jump in, remember, the conversations on the Mental Health Hour are for educational and informational purposes only and are not a substitute for professional mental health care or therapy. If you're struggling or need support, please connect with a licensed mental health professional in your region. Love Bay family, the chat is open. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, ask your questions, and tell us where you're tuning in from. And don't forget, you can stream with us live either on the Love Bay website, if you're on YouTube, what's up, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So please join us tonight. So this is the Mashup Hour Unfiltered, where real talk meets Barbershop Tuesday. Let's get into it.
Hello, hello.
Hey, family. Yeah.
Yes, we're back again.
We are
Yes.
back again. Oh my goodness. I always love hanging out with you guys because it is always a time. But tonight, of course, we've been talking about this mashup for a while, so
Yes.
I am so happy that we got to do it tonight. And you know, our topic tonight, family dynamics on 100. You know, why do we need to be talking about this holiday season?
Because it's stressful.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Say it again.
People have a lot of expectations of us, and depending
Uh-huh.
on where our batteries may lay as we close down to the year, we
Uh-huh.
just don't have it in us. And so it's real talk.
100.
I feel like this time of year we're all kind of mashed up. Speaking of the collaboration right now.
100.
Oh man.
And it can bring a lot of competition, just wanting
Yeah.
to see what everybody has done, some feelings of inadequacy, masking, or
Yes.
trying to just act out of emotions that really could rub people the wrong way. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think just like buying gifts, finances, a lot of people are struggling right now. Like that can cause like a lot of stress for sure.
Yeah.
And I think there's the pressure of having to go to all these different places and then be on when sometimes you're not feeling like you have the energy for it either.
Yes.
And then traditions. Which traditions do we
Yes.
uphold? Which ones do we drop? Which ones don't serve us anymore? What do we do? How do we navigate all of that?
Yes, so true.
It's like for me, I'm in hibernation mode. I don't know. So everyone's like, "Oh, can you come out to this?" I was like, "Yeah, that's far."
I don't
know
know.
you're down the street. I was like, "I know, kind of far."
I hear that. I'm just like, yo, I'm sorry. I have to go to the gym.
We're all in hibernation mode. Well said. You know, the holidays always, you know, you think about like the most Black holiday movie, okay? And the drama that ensues in these movies, you know, you really gotta pull out the popcorn because you see all of the different dynamics between siblings, you see the dynamics between parents, you know. Where do we start tonight? Because, you know, I know that we are all listeners for real talk, right? Where do we start when it comes to navigating family tensions in real life?
Yeah. When you said movies at first, the first thing I thought was soul food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not want to be in that situation.
Nope. But at least we get good food, you know.
That is true. That is true.
We may have drama, but we have good food.
Peace and silence kicks in when the food's done. When the food's ready to be eaten. Everyone's like, okay, food's ready. Okay, we're good.
Right?
Yeah.
To start is to like consider the fact too that, you know, I know we're being light and we're being airy about it, but sometimes the holidays is really hard for some people, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for real.
whether it be compounded by grief, the complexity of family tensions, you know, isolation and loneliness. You may be a part of a really big family and still feel lonely and isolated as well. So, you know, I think it is important for us to talk about the fact that it is okay if you're not maybe feeling as joyous as the season is calling us to be. And maybe, you know, that might require you taking a step back to kind of reevaluate how you want to show up. If you wish to show up, you know, you may want to hibernate like Gavin likes to do, which is also okay. But just, you know, an opportunity to really kind of reevaluate what this season looks like for you so that you are honoring the essence of yourself.
And it's also okay to take the time to just reflect on the fact that the family traditions that you have, that it might feel overwhelming this year. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You just take the time to figure it out. Am I willing to do all the things, or do I need to pick and choose what I'm actually capable of doing this season? I think that's a better approach than just trying to push through, especially when you might not have the energy to do it.
Yeah, and then you run into guilt for wanting to be like, okay, listen, I don't want to do anything. I
Mhm.
just want to be at home with you guys, with family, loved ones, or just your parents, or your
Mhm.
wife, or your husband. You know what I mean? So I've learned that definitely throughout the years. Where listen, guys, we're going away for Christmas, and
Yeah.
my wife and I have done that for the last two Christmases. So it's like this year, we're like, okay, we got to go be with family, but I think it comes a time where like I have to remove the guilt and be like, where are we at? We need this. We come back
Mm.
restored. We come back feeling lighter.
Mm.
And you kind of really feel the joy because we've talked so many times on these podcasts about the importance of rest and finding that time for yourself and restoring yourself. And I think the holidays is just with all the
Yes.
expectations, with all the weight, you spend all year working, grinding away. This is your one time to actually say, hey, everything's closed work wise, and this is my time to actually rest. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just think about like yeah, if you're like married or even if your parents are divorced or separated, having to navigate like going to different families' homes.
Mm.
Yes.
Just even like one side is upset with you because like you're not showing up at their home, the other side is upset with you, and then you have all this guilt and shame from
Mm.
going to either family. Like it can be really stressful. And so
Mhm.
like maybe even if you have like a partner, just having a conversation with them and saying like this is what we're gonna do this year, and next year, and just making a plan and letting those family members know and sticking to your plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
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 Yeah, people feel different emotions when it comes to the holidays. A lot of people, it could be end of the year to reflect and see what the year has been for them. For some, maybe progress. For some, it could be loss. For some, it could be divorce, just like you mentioned. And it brings about this that some people that I've talked in the past have had this feeling of not having a home to come to. So children with parents
Mm.
who are divorced and feeling that sense of loss, like we used to have this home where we would all come during the holiday, but now with
Yes.
us,
Wow.
there's
Yeah.
no home, there's no base. So it kind
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
just leaves them floating. But yeah, we can create
Mm.
new traditions, we can connect with friends and just see how we can navigate the holiday our own way.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well.
Yeah, I love that you talked about loss because I think that we usually picture loss looking like a particular thing, but there's different things that we can actually grieve over the holiday season, right? So, yes, sometimes it is like a loved one that may have passed on, but then, even grieving traditions, you're right, like that is a loss that sometimes we don't actually take into
Mm.
consideration, or
Yeah.
even like transitioning. Maybe you moved out of country and you're not around your family. Like there's just so many different levels of loss and grief that people can experience.
So true.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about the loss of sunlight in the day.
that,
First thing that came
That's a good one.
that's
that,
the
that is
first
a
thing
good
that the first thing that came to mind.
one.
No, because
Oh.
I do feel like during this time the loss of the daylight has
Yes.
affects
Yeah.
how I move each
Yeah.
day, and
Yeah.
then as we're going into the holidays, like that does in the back of your mind it does affect it a little bit, and that could be something that you carry forward, and you're like, well, I don't want like their mood or
Mhm.
how you approach things change. So I'm like the family
Mhm.
meetup that's at this time or this you may not feel like engaging.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
it can kind of alter your mental state. Like I can attest to that.
100.
100%. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not just
100.
the sunlight, but the temperature, of course. It kind of
Oof,
Yeah.
becomes
I know
twofold.
us out here in
Mm.
North America, we're
Oh,
experiencing that.
Ottawa was
Mhm.
minus 24 this week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why are you living there?
And yes,
Yeah.
it is minus 24 degrees Celsius. Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. I gotta specify. I know 24 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Way too cold. Way
Yeah.
too
Okay,
cold.
Yes.
you can keep that. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's January weather.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, Why?
I think that's a good point to like even highlight too, is just, yeah, there's a change in the season and,
Yeah.
not to necessarily even, make it all doom and gloom, but that definitely does impact the way in which you mentally,
Mm-hmm.
may feel to show up, your energy levels, all of those different things. And when you add to it having to navigate the complexity of family relationships, there's a lot of mental gymnastics that may need to happen in
Yeah.
order for you to even to get through or to get by. And I think it's important to like acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because saying no to some events is not always so easy, right? Like, especially if maybe you see your family like once or twice per year, like as a whole. Like to say no to that is not always as easy as it sounds. And so
Yeah.
sometimes I know that even like with clients, they have to mentally prepare themselves for many like weeks in order to make it through one of those dinners, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even if you want to actually say no and just like, opt out of some of the events with family, if you have kids and they want to go see their cousins, then all of a
Yes.
sudden you don't have a choice, right? You're showing
Yeah.
up and you are sitting there and you are dealing with all of the drama, right?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The holiday can be fun time though. I like it. I look forward I look forward to the celebrations. I like to have lots of food, lots of fun. I like
Yes.
all the organizations, end of the year parties. I've
Yes.
attended one. I think I have 2 or 3 more to attend. So I'm
Nice.
excited for all of that. I love to enjoy that. But also sometimes it can be too much. There can be so many expectations.
Yes.
Maybe you have to
Yeah.
bring gifts to, so we can pick and choose what we want to do, what we like. We can create our own traditions. And there's this
Mhm.
pressure that people feel like even though they're not feeling 100%, almost like they can't talk about it. And I'm hoping
Yeah.
us talking about this today can give people the ability to
Mm.
speak up what they're feeling. Yes, I want to go to this. I don't want to go to this. Yes, I want to do this.
Yes.
I don't want to do this. Yes, I feel
Mhm.
this loss. Just to be able to talk about whatever we feel and let off that pressure. I think
Yes.
since COVID, 5 years ago, I don't think we've fully recovered yet. There's so much pressure, so much stress, so much
Oh Lord. Yes.
wars, finances, just issues that have not really cleared and brought us back to status quo. So we want to give ourselves some grace as we navigate this holiday
Yes.
season. Yeah.
So true.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
I
what
guess.
does
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, it's a question for the whole panel. So, if someone decides to, not really, how would someone, decide to take action saying, I've had a tough year, I want something more peaceful? How can they break free of those expectations, whether they have kids, whether they have a tradition, every Christmas they have to do this, and they're like, you know what, this year, I really just need time to rest, whether it's with me, my wife and my kids, or my husband, or just my kids. How can they navigate this?
We've had to do that over the years, and so I can
Okay.
jump in first.
Yes.
We've done the go away for vacation over
Yeah.
Christmas time. We've also done in recent years. Um, we need to actually not do all the things that we used to do. Like there's so much
Mhm.
driving involved and long distances.
Oh,
Mm.
And
wow.
so, as the kids got a little bit older, we actually wanted to then do Christmas at our house as
Okay.
opposed to going and doing Christmas at grandparents' house and things like that.
Mhm.
What I would say to the people who are actually trying to navigate that is to, if you have a partner, talk to your partner, right? And figure out what your traditions are that you want to create, right? That's the first part. The second part is to be okay with disappointing others,
Mm.
right? Someone will be disappointed. It's inevitable. And once you've made your decision as a team, it's all right to then just say, this is what we're doing this year. It doesn't mean that we're going to do that every year, but this is where, this is what we need for right now for our family.
Yeah.
And when people are feeling upset about it, okay, you
Mm.
cry about it, you talk about it, you deal with it internally as a team, but you just let it go because you can't control other people.
Mm.
So true. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I think I would add to that too, in terms of you also don't have to explain yourself, right? I think sometimes because of there's that guilt that may come up around disappointing people or trying to live up to certain expectations, or if you are kind of like me in the family, you're constantly the black sheep and you're just kind of like, oh, well, I don't want, another label stuck to me. But for myself in navigating that, I had to learn, like, I cannot have any concern about other people's opinions about what I do, right?
Mm.
I have to
Yeah.
explain my no. If I wish to, obviously, to provide some context or to kind of, if there are family members who, for example, I'm particularly close to, and I just want to make sure that, like, I'm not coming across as disrespectful, that's different. But I think kind of like sometimes we go on this like apology tour or explanation campaign where we're constantly having to like sit down every person. So the reason why I'm not showing up this year is because of that. And it's like you don't need to do all of that. Right? You can stand firm in your decision, right? And yes, you're going to be upset, but guess what?
Yes.
You get to go into 2026 with peace, right? And at the
I
end of
love
the
that.
day, that's really and truly at the core of like what you deserve. And I think it's about kind of also giving yourself that permission to walk in line with what you deserve.
Yes.
I love
Yes,
that. Yeah.
Roxanne. It's Roxanne
Roxanne.
Francis from Francis Psychotherapy. She says people can stay disappointed.
Yes, Roxanne.
Yes, girl.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely.
as you were saying that, because I know some people will get disappointed, and
Yes.
yeah, some families might be upset with you. But what about the cases where some families might cut the person off completely?
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not that I've had to jump in there, but I was like, whose loss is it then? I'm like, I know what I bring to the table. I was like, you know what? You're not invited this year. I'm like, okay.
I was like,
Okay.
I wasn't coming anyways.
Yeah. It's like, I will organize my own plate. That's okay. Yeah. I was like, it just sounds like they're coming out of, it sounds like they're coming from a place of hurt. And then it's like,
Yes.
you know what? We'll address that after the holidays.
Yeah.
So I think just even seeing that, because I was thinking about like when you're deciding on what to participate in,
Mm.
and you're talking about how the exclusion. I'm like, I don't think that's a problem. You're taking something off my plate. I think I felt like the mental stress is like trying to decide where to insert yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
am I welcome here? Like,
I love that.
if you're already being taken out of the equation, I think you're just, I feel like that's less stress. It's like, I can address that later. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. They're in their feelings. That's, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I know, but it's a shock. Like it hits us. We're like, oh, I'm not invited
Yes.
anymore. But
Yes. 100. Absolutely right, Roxanne. People who get mad when you hold up your boundaries are people who
I
benefited
love that.
when you didn't have any.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
So
Girl,
true.
better
100%.
just jump on the call right now. Come
I
on.
was like, yeah.
That's also a good point to highlight in terms of the cutoff piece, because that is a
Yeah.
huge fear. And when you think about it, right, you have one family, right? We do talk about the fact that, like, relatives are people you're blood related to, family are people you choose, but family is still family. And so, that fear of, okay, well, if I don't show up, that may just be kind of the last strike against me. And and so I think when you're in a place where perhaps maybe you've had some level of like introspection and some self-awareness, and you've done the processing work to get to that place where it's like, yeah, like it's your loss, but I am sensitive to the fact that there are some folks who might be going through it, and the challenge of potentially not having anybody on the other side of the new year can really and truly be really heavy to deal with.
Yeah,
And there you force yourself to engage.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true.
At the end of the day, we're looking for love, and anything that threatens that is scary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And family often use that to manipulate people, to
No,
make people
100%.
conform.
Say that again. Eh?
I didn't hear you there. One more
Eh,
time.
hey,
They use it to
in this ear.
manipulate family members, get
Yeah.
you to give just that pressure. Like if you don't this, you're gonna be excommunicated, and that's
Yeah.
scary. Like you said, that's
Wow.
that sense of belonging. I've had people who
Mhm.
have experienced this. You must do this, or else I'm not talking to you, and that really weighs on people's mind. It's not
Mhm.
healthy.
Yes.
Sometimes I counsel some of my clients to see how they can use radical acceptance if they can cope. If not, see what they can give into just to cope for the main time. But yes, it can really overwhelm people because people. We talked about the sun. The sun is not staying with us for so much. So
Yeah.
seasonal affective just disorder there, and then being alone through the holidays, seeing other people post on social media, seeing family pajamas, and you have nobody to post pajamas, it can really mess with someone's mind. And then having that manipulation, oh, it could be tough. Yeah. So a lot of people go through this, and we would just want to see how we can navigate that in a healthy way.
Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like just thinking about, because we're so community centered, and the thought of being
Yeah.
excommunicated, like even
Mm.
just the visual of that, us being cast aside from our village, right?
Yeah.
Because our village represents so much to us, right? It represents a part of our identity, or we all have like a longing to belong,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so for that to be threatened is it's not easy, right? And yes, Roxanne, in the chat, we are searching for belonging and acceptance, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think too,
Yeah.
it's like it's so like central and core to us to not get kicked out of the herd, right?
Mm.
Because once upon
Mm-hmm.
a time, getting kicked out meant you weren't going to survive,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that then
Mm-hmm.
brings up that instinctive, like, no, I have to do everything I can
Mm.
to not
Yes.
completely get cut off from the rest of my tribe, from the rest of
Yes.
my herd, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so there's some people who are actually dealing with it. Rejection's not easy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially this time of year. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's some people who just have a little bit more resilience to them and they can just let
Mm-hmm.
it roll off, right?
Yes.
For sure.
Like we were sharing that before, right?
Yes.
But for some people it's just hard, especially based
Mm.
on what they've gone through, their trauma background. And so just being able to
Yes.
Yes.
hold space for where people are at. And it's just like you were just saying before, Kulia, like it's this idea of um, just seeing where people, yeah, sorry, the pajama conversation.
I love it. I love it, Roxanne.
those, those pajamas are intimidating, though. I can't wait
Yes.
for matching
Yeah.
right? So all that to say
Yeah.
that it is hard. It is hard for
Yeah.
people, and just being able to just hold space for that is important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So true. There's two sides of the spectrum where you have people saying it's overwhelming. I have to be with family. I have to do this and that. I have to spend this amount of money. And then
Yeah.
as you're speaking to that, you have the other side where it's like, am I going to be alone for the holidays?
Hmm.
Mm.
Crap, I don't have anyone with me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's two sides of it. It's challenging, right? Regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm just thinking about people who like just moved here, they're with their family. That's all they have, and then all of a sudden now you're cut off. Or even people who got married into a family and came here, and you didn't do what that side of the family said, and now you're cut off. Like you have nobody to talk to, you have nobody that you don't feel accepted, you don't feel loved. That can be really hard. And so like I think for a lot of people that's like, okay, I'll just do whatever you want me to do, just so that you feel happy, even if I don't feel good about
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So putting other people's needs above ours,
Yeah.
because for survival's sake, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
people going through this, I would recommend maybe speaking to a therapist because they can help you figure out ways to maybe see new connections, see more opportunities, and not feeling like you have to give away your voice, betray yourself, your sense of self,
Mm-hmm.
betray your value. I remember my first Christmas here in Canada. I was excited to move to Canada several years ago. Got to see snow for the first time. And then my family that I was staying with of course, I was on study permit, so
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't travel. They were traveling for the holidays. They already booked their flight before I arrived. So they all traveled, and I was alone. And I was
Oh.
able to find
Mm,
new connection. I was able to find a new family invited me over for Christmas, and I went and
okay.
I had a blast. It was amazing. So there are ways where you can find new connections. And then my family came back. They brought, of course, I didn't have the Canadian passport to travel with them, but they brought me gift. They brought a piece of where they traveled to the warm weather, and I really felt
Mm,
included. So there are ways where you can find new connections, build new connections, and not feel lonely. So if you're
100%.
in this space, connect to the therapist, see how you can explore your options and not feeling like you just have to give in or just be isolated.
I love that. That's powerful.
I think
I'm
it's
curious though. No, go ahead, Chan.
I was gonna say I'm just kind of curious because Kinley, you sound like you are an extrovert, and I'm thinking about myself and my girl Shar. We don't right? We don't like peopling too much, so
Hey, how come you didn't include me in
because
that?
you're
Eh?
an you balance us, right? But I'm just, I'm curious for the introvert in us who is
Yeah.
just kind of like the thought of reaching out to new connection that I don't know, at a time where it's just kind of like, I would be the one kind of on the outside because everybody else would kind of know each other.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even navigate that piece? And I'm asking for myself and for all my other introvert people out there.
I think I'm introvert extrovert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, Kunle. Me
Yeah.
too.
I
Same.
remember that year, it was my first time in Canada, so everything was exciting for me. Saw
Yeah.
snow. So I have a group of community and some place where I volunteer. I remember the leader just asked me, "What are you doing for Christmas?" Like, "Oh, all my family are traveling." Like, "Do you want to come?" So the leader also was lonely. She's from the US. She's Caucasian. She's from the US but works in Canada. And she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, she's lonely too, but she's going to spend with this family." So I
Oh
tagged along with
wow.
her. I was the only black person, but it was fun. It didn't matter. I was excited to see the way they celebrate their Christmas, their grandmother, 3 generations.
Wow.
I forgot myself. I didn't feel like a stranger. So it
That's
was fun. It
amazing.
was amazing. And then after that, I never forgot that Christmas. Every time I see this family, I kind of feel like I'm a part of them in some way. So someone just
I
invited me.
love that.
I'm lonely too. I'm spending with this family that I've known for years. Would you come? You can tag along and be my plot. Like, yeah, sure. And it was fun. Yeah. So it took away the pressure and they didn't bother me too much. I was there. Anything I want, fine. Because the kids are busy, people
Yeah.
people attended, of course. Visually, I'm the only black, but everybody can see me. I stand out like a sort of. They included me, but they also gave me my space. And it was really fun. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that my mom used to do. Like when we had Christmas, if there was anyone in the neighborhood or whatever, we didn't have food or they're like struggling or whatever, my mom would be like, "Yo, just come through," and like we'd all make dinner together and just hang out, and it was good. Yeah,
I love that.
it's a good
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Andrew, I want some of your cheesecake though. You were bigging up your cheesecake last time, and
Jeez, Andrew, cheesecake. Oh,
yeah, apparently he makes a mean cheesecake.
Yo, let me know. I'll make it for you. Bro.
Y'all,
I think she
y'all
just
heard
did.
that
it's like
across
you realize
across
this
the
is being
globe.
recorded, right? You need to record the transfer of the cheesecake. The audience can see it.
No, I can make it for you. I'm cool. It's cool.
Oh, all right. Okay, you all heard it, Love Bay family. I'm getting cheesecake this Christmas.
Yes.
I'm not promising, but I also just had good meat before this session.
Okay.
I came back from like, what am I gonna eat? I need energy. So I have some goat meat. I have some pounded yam. So I made a pounded yam, goat
Okay.
meat, spinach soup. Quickly
Okay.
add that, and now I have energy for today.
Jeez. Okay.
Yo, I'm gonna need some Ogusi. I'm gonna need some Ogusi, yo. You have to make that
Yep,
for
I had a goosey, the spinach soup. Yeah, I mixed it with a goosey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, next time we do this, it has to be a potluck because this
Yes.
can't do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
matching socks.
Yes.
And Roxanne, you're gonna come too, girl.
Yes.
Come on.
We'll supply the socks for you, Roxanne.
Yeah.
Got you.
It's like Matt's like, I know a guy.
Got you.
You know a guy? All right. You can get
Yeah.
one for me.
Got you.
Sock guy. Hmm.
Coming
Oh
back to
man.
our topic, something that comes to mind also is why the holiday feels really overwhelming sometimes is in
Yeah.
families, we kind of seem to have different roles. There are certain
Mhm.
people expected to do
Mm.
certain things, and sometimes the burden can be unduly placed on someone where they don't
Yeah.
get to enjoy, and they
Yeah.
might have been doing that for so many years and feel stuck. Like, can
Mhm.
somebody else take this? And that can add pressure, financial expectations,
Mhm.
just broken routines, sleep time,
Mhm.
everything is out of order. And all this
Yeah.
can really affect the way we feel, the way we experience the holidays.
Yes.
And over time, it can bring resentments if not attended to or talked about.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think even the role we play in our families, like our birth order, could even play
Mhm.
some stuff in that, right? So
Yeah.
maybe the eldest has to look out for everyone, the youngest has to get food for everyone, the middle child is just middle childing,
Yeah.
the middle children, we see you. We see you. Is anyone
Thank
here
you.
a middle child?
I was about to
I
say,
feel I feel loved. I feel
Yeah.
Oh, you and Matt are both middle children.
Who's a middle child?
I am.
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt?
I am as well.
You okay?
Oh, and
This
Andrew,
is it.
Andrew and Matt, you
Andrew.
guys are
Yeah.
middle children?
Yeah.
This is it. You know what? I'm coming over for cheesecake, Andrew.
Yeah. Go through. Go through. I got you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
There's this interesting movie right now
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Prime. Not that I'm plugging anything, but it was interesting because it spoke to the idea around roles, right? It was called
yeah.
Fun, and it's basically about a mom, and all she really wanted for Christmas was to be on some talk show, and she would send to all her kids like,
Uh-huh.
I want this for Christmas, and nobody responded to her, but she was like
Yeah.
the lifeline or the backbone of everything, the cooking, the presents, the this, the
Mm.
that. And then she organized for them to go on this amazing, go see this amazing dance contest or dance show or something. And they left her. The whole family arrived at the theater and like forgot mom, right? So she packs up her
Oh.
things and she's off, right, to show like, what it's like when she's not there. But I think it highlights this idea around the role, and that sometimes,
Mm.
yes, there's this uneven pressure on certain members of the family, especially members of the family who may be in more of a caregiving role traditionally,
Yeah.
to hold everything together. And so, with the holidays does come that added pressure of being that person while you might be managing your own things at
Mm.
the same time. And maybe, to be honest, maybe
Yeah.
it's a year where you're just, quite frankly, tired. Right. So, what
Mhm.
would it look like
Mm.
to redistribute the role and have those conversations with your family to let them know kind of where your own boundaries lie in terms of maybe I'll attend, maybe I'll show up, maybe I'll host. But rather than cooking everything this year, it's a potluck, right? Like rather than being the one person who is making sure that everybody else is sorted out, or if there's financial pressures, like perhaps
Mhm.
instead of buying gifts for everybody, we do kind of like a Kris Kringle, or I think it's important to explore different ways to ensure that everybody is feeling
Mhm.
seen, heard, and there's great weight distribution.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it makes me also think of
Mm.
people because obviously, we're all adults, we're working, whether we have our own place, we have our own families, and then
Mm.
we get together with family. And what about going back into roles you wanted to get out of?
Mhm.
Right? So you grow up in a family, they always see you in that role.
Mhm.
And then now you got to go back into a role when you feel like you've almost grown out of it or you've changed and you're like,
Yeah.
why am I still here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
powerful there, Sean, for sure.
Because your
Absolutely.
identity has changed, right? I
Yes.
think that's the thing sometimes about the holidays that can be challenging is that you go back home and you go back into your roles, or you go back to see family members and you go back into their view or vantage point of you,
Mm.
even though you may have grown, you have different wants, you have different desires, as well. And I think especially within our
Mm.
community, there can be this kind of, um, I'm going to say, fear, because I think that's something that I've experienced about having the conversation.
Mhm.
Is it
Mhm.
am I going to be heard? Am I going to be understood?
Mhm.
If I decide to deviate, how is that going to disrupt
Mhm.
the balance or the status quo of
Yeah.
On the holidays, right?
No,
Yeah.
Christmas is canceled. That's basically what it is. That's what that's what you've said right now. It's like if you're not doing this, I'm like, forget it, forget it. But I do see that. I use my mom as example. Sorry, mom. But every once in a while, it's more of. I think it would be nice to host it at somewhere else, or or if it's like if I'm providing the venue, like maybe I'm not in it as much. So stepping back rather than throwing your hands up,
Yeah.
and kind of backing away that way. I'm like, well, the table's not gonna set itself. I'm like, you're gonna have to find out like where the tablecloths. I don't know. Like, but that's the person that knows where everything is. It's more of maybe allowing others to kind of step up and maybe take over some of those things. And rather than is dinner like just on the phone, I'm like, is dinner ready yet? Like I think that's where a lot of people either used to that kind of mentality or they just show up and they're like, all right, well, it's like, let me know when it's all done.
Yeah.
And they bring their containers too, that's the thing.
And I can understand. See, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But it's like you can bring up, matters of contention, like with that, because if these people if they have their roles, and then you can build up a resentment for others. Like, okay, so, but you have how many containers this year? Like, I saved over all this, and that
5.
you.
I love that.
No, I've heard the conversations of rules. It's like, well, the food stays here, so you are welcome to come, but the food stays.
Yes.
Such that you eat your belly full. That's it.
Nice try.
Come back for more.
Who's gonna keep patrolling the kitchen?
I know. I know. Need a bouncer for that. But no, as I said, I can see the tensions building with that, like around the holidays. So it's a very interesting space to kind of see that dynamic, because I've been on the growing up being on like, well, I can't really do much, to all right, can I help? And I've learned that those are the magic words. So let's say for those extroverts, or no, the introverts, maybe helping with something, because then you can be behind the scenes, not in front. All right, so that could be a way in, because we were talking about like just kind of being alone for the holidays, or being in a space that is foreign to you. Maybe just offering help, and that kind of gets you in, and opens up a conversation that you're like on your terms, as opposed to thrust into, so what kind of pajamas did you get this year?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I feel like it's less stressful. It alleviates a lot of.
That's true.
I'm going to try that now, but
no,
thinking about that.
Just back to what you were saying, I think it's really interesting because as moms, it's always hard, right? So I'm gonna speak for the mom, right?
Yes.
It's always hard because that is a role that you have to play, and you want to actually give your kids everything that they want. You want to make it magical for them.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's just hard. Yes, you have to think about all the things, but if you don't do it, who won't do it? Right? So the decor, the gifts, the wrapping, the food, all of it. It's a lot. And just to tie in with something that we've talked about on one of our other episodes around like the strong Black woman trope, right? It's like it is a burden to actually carry that mantle.
Yeah.
It is that when it comes Christmas time, we can't take it off and put it down. Right? So it is a hard thing to do. And I love that you're saying that you want to actually help out. I think more kids need to, when they grow up, go to their moms and ask, how can we support you? How can we help you? Right? But a lot of times it's just that's mom's vantage point. That's mom's thing. I'm gonna just let mom do her thing, right?
Yeah.
And mom
So
kind of
true.
feels a way about it being taken from her too, right? So
Mm,
it's both, right? It's exhausting, and
Yeah.
on top of that, it's do it for the kids. There's
Yeah.
that meme. I don't know if you guys ever seen the meme of like the mom in the robe, the bathrobe,
yeah,
her cup, and it's
Yeah.
Christmas
yes.
Day for kids opening gifts, and it's like she has her hair bonnet on, and she's just so happy because
Yeah.
Mm,
you know
I
yes,
know.
they happy. My kids are good, right? And so I
yes.
just kind of feel like that is in some way emblematic of the way that moms are, right? Black moms especially. We want the
Mhm.
best for our kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see Roxanne in the chat saying, I was talking with a mom today who said that she is tired of being responsible for
Mm.
the holiday cheer in her home, the food, the decor, and the
Wow.
gifts. It's a lot.
There you
And then
go.
she topped it off to say, my Christmas magic is done. For sure.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's
And I'm
both. It's
also,
both things, right?
Yeah.
You got the role, but it's exhausting.
and I also
Mhm.
think about the moms whose roles are, or the parents, we should say, but particularly moms whose roles are changing, right? Because kids might be older, leaving the home, or they have their own families. Like Matt said, he goes away for Christmas. It's different now, right? And
Yeah.
so when things are no longer the same, right? And I think there is this piece that we think about in terms of um, the loss related
Yes.
to that when things are no longer
Mm.
the same. I no longer have we talked about the fact that, like, okay, what if you're forced to play these roles again? But what about when the role, you no longer have that role? You're no longer,
Mm.
kids come home and everybody's
That's powerful
gathered
too.
and cut the black cake and people staying up and kikiing till what time and playing Monopoly or whatever you do,
Oh man.
Wait,
right?
did you say black cake? There's black cake too? Oh, okay.
Sorry to
Right?
doubt that.
Like changes, right? And that's another thing to really kind of think about too. Or, you know, your family have moved away to different parts and now it's just you, and that has changed. And
Mm,
so, sometimes just with the holidays brings, that sense of having to develop a new kind of pace for yourself,
yeah.
Mm.
conditions
Yeah.
for yourself. That may not always be easy.
Mhm.
I guess my question to the panel is
Mhm.
how can you find some peace in the midst of the madness? Because we have many psychotherapists on the panel. You've helped many patients. I feel like the holidays is a season where everything is magnified and it may even return traumas and return things that they've been working on throughout the year. I understand the mom part. I mean, my mom cooked massive pots of food. Gavin knows,
Mm,
all that stuff. It's you bear the burden of the mom. How do moms? I mean, the joy of seeing their kids happy is there, but how can they find a moment of peace? How can you? I guess you've been battling throughout the year, and now everything comes in the holidays. You have no work, but it's a different type of work. I guess the question is, how do you find the peace?
Run to the bathroom. Lock the door.
That's good.
Like sanctuary. There
Yes,
it is.
the throne of thrones.
There it
yes.
is.
Awesome. No,
Finding the balance.
Oh,
I think planning ahead helps.
yeah.
Maybe some of the things you want to do, planning ahead. Don't wait until the last minute to do the shopping. If you want to shop, if you want to buy gifts, you don't have to do any of those things. But if there are things you want to do, plan ahead. And also to kind of ease into it. Don't feel the pressure to do better than you did last year. Do
mm,
whatever feels right in the moment for now. Not trying to overdo or outdo someone or compete. Just be yourself. It can be tough, but like I said, and since COVID, I don't think we've fully recovered. So we want to take into account just everything that's been going on and learn to be kind to ourselves and not hold ourselves to certain expectations that's going to cause us more stress. You want to focus on what matters most, spending time with family or spending time alone, having space for yourself or in the bathroom. Yeah, whatever you need. So not holding certain expectations like it must be done this way. Sometimes having that black and white thinking or rigid thinking can cause us more stress. Be flexible.
Yeah,
Go with the flow. Yeah.
I
I
like
think
that.
I think that adjusting expectations is key, right? Because every year is going to be different. Maybe your financial experience is even different this year, right? So
Mm.
adjusting that expectation on yourself, because I feel like especially as moms, like we can really be hard on ourselves if we're not meeting a
Mm.
particular expectation that we have in our mind that it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And let's be real, like I have two little kids, and I remember when they were younger, they were more interested in the box than the toy that was in the box,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? And it's just like, wait a second. So I was stressing over getting this gift for them, and really,
Mm.
yes, they were
Didn't
happy. It was
matter.
more about the wrapping
The
paper, them
box.
pulling it off,
Yes.
right? And then the box. They're like, oh, I can fit myself in this box, right? So just,
Mm.
doing things within your means, and there's no shame in that. And I think that
Yeah.
sometimes we feel guilty and we feel shameful if we can't meet certain things. And then I think the second part is also just being intentional. Because if we're not intentional during the holidays, we're just
Mm.
gonna leave as stressed as we went in, right? So
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I would actually say that taking the time out, like literally looking at your calendar, right? Like now,
Mhm,
take your
mhm,
calendar, look at it, and find time for you. Literally
mm,
schedule it into your actual,
Mm.
100.
your calendar, right? And if you can do it after the holidays, that's great. Like there's that 1 week before like the kids go back to school. If you can take
Mm,
just a couple days that week and just focus on yourself, that's gonna be like it's gonna be so rejuvenating, especially as you're
mhm,
going into the new year, right?
Yeah.
In addition to that, try that week to not go on social media. This is like right after Christmas,
Mm.
right? Try not to look and see what everybody else did because that's the thing
mm,
that's going to steal your joy, right? You could have
So
been
true.
on something, in your house that you feel so good about. And by the time you go onto Facebook, you're like,
and
oh,
watching all the pajamas and matching socks.
and
Oh,
so that's the thing. Like you
so
gotta
true.
actually try really hard to just
Yeah.
unplug, right? Call it like a fast, call it a reset, call it whatever you will. But after
Yes.
after Christmas, like literally just unplug for a few days at least, and just take care of your own mental health, take care of your babies, take care of your home, and just find time to relax.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
And I think the intentionality is, so key. You have a right to define what this season looks like for you, right? And I
Mm.
think, taking some time to kind of, make that kind of your anchor, right? Like what is important for you in this season? And maybe it is not to be away. Maybe I love to be in the fun of it all. Maybe I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
to be in the thick of it and have everybody laughing, the loud noise and the rambunctiousness and everything like that. That can actually be a huge anger. So when you are feeling tired and burnt out, you come back to your why,
I
Mm,
love that.
for the season as well. And I think the other piece around it too is giving yourself permission to stop when you need to, right?
mm,
Mm.
So much go, 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 go. And as some of
Oh,
the
yes.
other panelists have
yes.
said as well, you don't have to do it all, but sometimes we have to give ourselves that permission to kind of
Yeah.
wind it back a little bit because even though other people might be like, oh yeah, it's no problem, mom, or just let it go, it's not a big deal, we don't have to do this, or they may be
Mhm,
open to pivoting, but you are kind of like holding yourself to, I need to, I need the S on my chest. I need to know
mm.
everything is, fantastic. And that also can be, really
Mm. I
I'm
love
I'm
that.
interested, right? I know we talked about the black woman trope over the holidays, but what about our brothers? Like, what is the usual pressures for our brothers, for dads? Whatever role you have over the holidays. I'm interested. You tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
Financial
Tell me.
pressure, money pressure.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Financial pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Bills to be paid,
Mm,
expectations. Oh, we need to do the you and do that, and nobody's
yeah.
checking. Are you able to handle that? Are you no? You and just expectations. You handle this.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be stressful for a lot of brothers, and
Mhm,
also maybe triggers. There are triggers. There are things that
mhm,
even though we love our families, there are
Mm.
triggers that we get from families, maybe from childhood Maybe
Yeah.
with adults, children now coming back home with their spouses. This spouse
Mm.
doesn't like that spouse, then all those can cause chaos.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
affects the man, it affects the energy in the home, it affects,
Mhm.
and sometimes maybe some part of the family just feels like you married the wrong person and feel like your partner is not the right dynamic or your partner is not being
Mm.
accepted in the
Mhm.
family. It affects the man too, affects the pressure in just
Mhm.
supporting the partner, but also being there kind of, yeah, it is tough. In that's what comes to mind at the top of mind for men.
Mhm.
That's so true. And, I would second that 100%. And being the transporter for sure.
Mhm.
Riding here, 55 different stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't find the turkey baster, Matt. You got
Like, you got it, Matt? All right, fine. Let me go.
Let me ask a question that I was kind of curious about in terms of how do you deal with those intrusive conversations that come up in the family gathering? You know, the
Mm.
when are you having kids? When are you getting
Mm,
married? When are you gonna have somebody? Like, how do
Uh.
you
mm.
navigate the intrusive questions? I didn't mean to overstep if anybody wanted to answer Felicia's question that she had before, but just to also throw it out there.
Mm.
I for me, I just have a lot of boundaries.
Mm.
I just have a lot of boundaries, even when it comes to financial pressure. If if people expect gifts and stuff like that, like I might say like, oh well, this year I'm just getting gifts for my nephew and niece. That's it. Like,
Nice.
and I'm not trying to spend too much money. And when it comes to like having kids, marriage, all those things, um, I think that part could be hard, especially if they keep asking. But I just let them know like right now I'm not in a space where I want a relationship, or right now I'm not in a space where I want to have kids. But when that time comes, I'll let you know. Yeah, I just kind of create boundaries with them.
But you're not gonna be young forever, you know, Andrew.
Especially in homes, I
That-
don't know.
That's exactly it.
Answer.
That's exactly it.
You mean you can't find a nice young girl?
Yo, find me one then. Find me one.
That is exactly it.
You know,
Uh,
my friend's daughter, she's single, you know,
oh
and
my
I
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
That's that's the best, you know. I have a granddaughter for you, you know. Uh,
Some of those conversations can really be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes
was,
they come up when everybody's a little drinking, is late in the night, just
oh
blurt
man,
it
yes.
out everywhere. When are you bringing? Yeah, it can be really frustrating. I
yeah.
think sometimes it might even be better to not engage. To say, I'm not comfortable talking about this. To walk into the next room and to just remove yourself in that moment, because sometimes explaining just gives them something more to bring up, more to later because you become the focus. Everybody's focused on you.
Yes.
You want to cut it
So
short.
true.
You want to make it uninteresting. No, not talking about you've had too much to drink. Change the topic. You should stop drinking.
Yes.
And like, and we found this new magical place to escape to. This is the restroom, the bathroom.
Yep.
Right? So I think now you're like, my
This is it.
sanctuary.
Yeah.
And like those words come up, you're like, and then you just, that's it. You
Yeah.
like put them on pause.
Yeah.
Like
It's so true.
so I've encountered those same such conversations. So I think that's
It's true.
I want to say, I'm like, there's a list of things. There's the bathroom you can escape to, more food. And I know these are maybe like devices, like these can be vices after, but I mean, if your mouth is full, you can't explain yourself. So um it maybe is a matter of avoidance, but I'm like, I have fun. I think what it is as long as if you have fun with it, because you
Yeah.
can take
Yeah.
a moment where, you know, high intensity and everyone's watching you. I was like, well, you can watch me finish this food I just put in my mouth. So it gives you time.
Oh, I thought you said you were full, Gavin. You get it. Yeah, this
One
man.
more piece. I'm
Yes.
like, yeah.
I
Well,
love
No, but I'm like,
practicality of answers, right? Because sometimes it's just that,
Mm.
right? Just
yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes it's about the healthy distraction that would deviate to something else, right? And open up the conversation to something else.
It's
Yeah.
true. Because sometimes too, it's you factor in, and Roxanne touched upon it here. It's your parents, your aunts, your uncles, grandparents. You're like, okay, I don't want to just be like, stop talking to me. You have to find a way to still be respectful in that scenario too. So, as Roxanne is saying, you be bold enough to communicate it.
Okay, so I'm going to just be that person today, right? Because you know that in I won't say most, I'll talk in a lot of our family dynamics, we like to sweep things under the rug. The rug is full. There's a big lump, and nobody wants to talk about the elephants in the room, right?
So
So,
true.
because it's uncomfortable, so we dance around it. We're drinking our sorrel around it, and nobody really wants to address it, right? And I think that even a lot of the tensions that we're talking about right now, it's because we don't like conflict. We don't want to talk about it. So we want to like say, why? I'm not gonna touch that. You asked me about that. How come you don't talk about XYZ? you know? But we like to avoid tension. I don't know.
Yeah, so true.
I know I make light of it, but it's exactly that. I'm like, I think when Shannon mentioned like healthy outlets, I'm like, that's avoidance is one tactic, but I mean
Yeah.
it just means that you can address it later or or tackle it in the spot. But I'm like, if you're feeling moments of contention, like you're just, and you have to like, you tend to withdraw, that's the negative effect. But you got to be able to kind of see your way through it. Or I think I anticipate, I'll use myself as an example, I anticipate these questions.
Yeah.
So you can either come prepared and and that could be the way. Like this is not the first rodeo. Like you've done this before.
You've been going through it.
Each event or whatever, like there are things that are gonna come up. The same thing with family dynamics. It's like, oh, you hear so and so's coming this time?
Yeah.
Who are they bringing? Like that's
so
it
true.
comes up, it's gonna happen. So you can mentally prepare. Well, we were just talking about all the shows, the drama, like it's coming.
Yeah, Uncle Derek is coming.
Yeah.
So I think this is a matter of preparation, and then at the same time, either having that conversation ahead of time. That so and so is gonna point you out on this. So maybe cut them out for the past. There's like, well, like I see you by the food. I'm like, maybe this is a good place. I'm like, hey, it's nice. So if you bring that up again, all right. I don't know. It could be you find a way in. I don't know. Like maybe those are just some tactics that I would use.
And also reinforcement, because my sister and I are great tag teamers this way.
Okay.
When it comes down to it, so are you going? Okay, I'm going. What is the code word when we're ready to go? Because when we're ready to go, we're ready to go. Like, are you going? Can you go for both of us? And then I'll go to this one for both of us. Like, where is your reinforcement sometimes? Because, or if you, like, for example, certain things that we don't want to talk about, if there's one of the pairings who is a little bit more assertive, like my sister is, she's not talking about that. Right. So sometimes it's also about finding somebody who, can kind of be your ally in those settings. Who can kind of be your sounding board when Auntie so and so wants to go off.
Yes.
Oh, Auntie so and so. I know who you're talking about.
I know her.
Yeah.
I know she.
Community within family is very important.
Oh man, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That same code word. It could be like, I dropped a sock. Like I don't know. Like I don't like I couldn't find that missing sock. I'm like, all right, we're leaving now. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think just even because you're still tackling the situation. Like you're just either finding a creative outlet or you say team up. team up with another family member. I like that idea. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And also
Roxanne
too,
says, I call it a holiday bouncer, someone to create interference for you.
yes,
I need one of those, a holiday bouncer. Anyone want to be a holiday bouncer for me?
Build new bonds. There it is.
Help
we got you.
I got you.
the
We
exit.
got you.
Know when it's your time to
Mhm.
exit,
Yeah.
right? And have your scripts prepared in advance around, how you're going to move. I mean, for any family members who are listening, you'll know mine, but mine is competing parties tonight, right? The competing party is really just my bed, but it's competition there, right? And so I think it's important that you have your scripts prepared for when you do need to, have a healthy exit, because sometimes it gets a lot, and you need to know when you need to put your pause on it and not feel dragged into kind of staying as well. So if you only want to be there for an hour, then have yourself prepared in terms of, oh, this was amazing. Thank you so much. I have competing parties tonight, but thank you so much for having me. And then you go home to your bed.
Yeah.
An hour? That's possible? I was thinking after 5 hours, then you say, okay, I got to bounce, but an hour? Wow.
Or the goodbye takes an hour too.
But I'm telling you, and you don't forget about your 5 containers. You got to make sure
Oh, man.
I think in those situations, I just usually let people know beforehand, like, this is the time I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave at 8 o'clock. So the time I'm going to leave, and just leave it at that. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, like, why don't you stay for a little bit longer? Like, we really want to keep you. And I'll be like, well, I told you at the beginning, this is the time I was going to leave. And just having those boundaries. That's something you could do. When Gavin, when you were talking about like what you were saying earlier, like just kind of just, I don't know. I would probably just play some soca music and start dancing. Someone wants to talk to me about something, I'll play my music, start dancing. You can't talk to me about dancing. I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, that song. And then, yes.
No, you can even dance your way out the place. You can do that too. Moonwalk right out. You're good.
Oh,
there are many. I know there are many tactics, but
yeah.
I think maybe that could be your signature. That is like when that's there, and it can make light of it as well. It's like like they ask you knowing that like, let's see what he comes up with this year.
Yeah.
I think you just flip the script on it a lot of the times, and it can turn into something that's not as grief stricken, and something that can be fun in the end. And maybe that's what it is. It's like finding the fun in it. It's like it could be a jab or whatever. I'm like, sometimes they don't know what's loaded behind some of the questions that they ask, like
Sure.
the conversations that they have, and know that it hits you a certain way. So I'm like, I know we use comedy to kind of get through maybe moments of pain and all of that, but these are, I want to say, some like coping mechanisms, but I find that there's still healthy ways to do it. So as long as you're not masking it, I think if you're acknowledging it, then and then making light of it, then showing yourself grace at the same time.
So true. Especially if you're only seeing, this so specific family member or aunts and uncles or cousins once a year. And you're like, okay, I can be prepared for this. I know what I'm going into. Let me just, if I have to brush it off, whatever. So
yeah,
because they make the best.
Grab your sword, and you're ready.
Yeah, they make the best macaroni pie. It's always the ones that give the most problems.
Yes.
You're like,
but the food though.
Yeah, they always bring the best dishes. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining.
I would also say to know who to request things from and know who to set boundaries with, right? There's going to be certain family members that you can pull them aside. You can call them ahead of time, or you can pull them aside at the party and say, you know what, I'm actually asking you to not bring this up, right? I know that in the past you've brought it up and it's felt uncomfortable for me. This year, can we do it differently, please? Right? Do not bring it up. I'm having a hard time with this. And that family member will honor your request. Oh, I didn't realize you're having a hard time. Yes, of course, I won't bring it up. Then you have the people who you know, even if you request till you're blue in the face, they are still going to bring it up in front of everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
That person you set a boundary with. And the boundary is not for them, the boundary is for you.
Mm.
I love
So,
that. Yeah.
respectfully, how can you respectfully extricate yourself and get somewhere else, right? Like, I know we joked around earlier about the bathroom or leaving early, and all of those things are all good. I love the dancing, right? That you just break out some dance moves, right? Your smooth criminal moves, all the, in the place. But the key thing is for you to figure out what works best for your personality
Yeah.
and just extricate yourself from that situation because it's not actually a safe and healthy situation for you in that moment.
Yes.
So true.
Yeah, we can't be held hostage, emotionally hostage by the macaroni pie.
I don't
On
know. I might be able to be held hostage, brother.
Yeah, same.
Trinity to the bone, Matt. Trinity to the bone.
Some
Yo, trust me.
callaloo and macaroni pie. Ooh,
Yo, some Bajan macaroni pie. Sorry, I gotta
Eh,
have that.
listen.
what? Okay, we need a competition. Bajan macaroni pie versus Trini macaroni pie.
Oh my gosh. This is
I will be
this
the
is my
judge.
brother. I don't want to disrespect him. I love him too much.
I think we're gonna have a cook-off, guys. We're gonna have a cook-off.
One day, we have to do it. We have to do it.
Yes.
Same person, yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes families find it hard to see us differently. They've had this image of us from growing up, and now you've evolved, you've gone away, you've had so successful career, and you come back and they still want to see you like this little boy, this little girl, and just want to tell you the way to live your life, and that can be really frustrating. So yes, I like that about boundaries. I remember one year I traveled back home. I'm from Nigeria. Traveled back home for Christmas, and then I was gonna get a ride from two of my uncles actually, and their wives. We're gonna drive about 5 hours. Like, I'm
wow.
in for it. 5 hours. They're gonna find something to complain about my dressing or something, and then they pick my beards because I started growing. They were like, "Oh, why are you keeping beards? You look like people from a certain religion," and they kept going on. And I was thinking, I'm stuck here for 5 hours. What am I gonna do? I just got an idea. I was like, oh, even Jesus had beards. And they're like, wow. And I shut them up.
Yes.
They never complained about my bearding.
Next time
I
you
didn't
saw
know
them,
that
they all
Jesus,
had
like-
the man had beards.
Yeah, the culture of Jesus, they kept him, and like Jesus had beards, and they
Yeah.
kept quiet. They didn't call me of that religion anymore. Yeah, so sometimes you need wisdom to know how to
Yes.
respond the way they didn't imagine. Yeah.
You threw them
You
off.
need a good clap back. That's what you're
Yeah.
trying to say.
I had a peaceful 5 hour drive to the next town, so that was good.
No, but see, you were prepared. You were like, there's 5 hours. These things are gonna come up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that mental preparation helps, and I think it created some ease.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the one side where, other people are encroaching on our boundaries, right? But how do we handle other people's boundaries when they're setting it and we're disappointed? Let's look at it from the other lens too. You know? Don't feel salty. That's what I'll say. Don't feel salty.
That's true. We have expectations of others as well, right? That we hold on others. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? And not everyone handles disappointment really well. A lot of us don't. So, how do we respect other people's boundaries when it's hard?
Well, how I help my clients to do it is to just simply sit with the emotions. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, right? And emotions are not good or bad, it's just information. So, what's the information telling you? right? The
Love that.
information could be simply saying that I feel disappointed.
Mm.
The information could be telling you that I actually feel disrespected, I feel angry, I feel frustrated because all of a sudden I heard a no. So now we're dealing with control issues, right?
Mm.
And
Mm,
so just by sitting with it for a little bit, noticing the discomfort, naming the emotion, and actually going underneath to find out, okay, why this is there, that's what you need to then kind of decide on a launching plan for how you're going to get out of that space.
mm.
So,
And not every no me doesn't mean that they don't love you.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that when we hear no, it hits a particular chord within us.
Hmm.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, go on, Andrew. I see you want to say something. Come on, Andrew. Come
Huh?
on. I see.
Right there.
Sorry. No, no, no.
I can feel you thinking.
um, no, no, no. That's been me at one point when I'd like want to invite people over, and then they were just like no or whatever. And 'cause I would normally be like really excited, just be like, oh, we're just gonna have like this huge family gathering, and then it ended up being like a lot smaller than I expected. And so
Mm,
yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. But then at some point I realized like it has. Because a lot of times I was disappointed because I was like, yeah, like the idea of like, oh, they might not like me or like whatever. But at some point I realized like it has nothing to do with me.
Mhm.
It's just they might need rest. They might have other things that they need to do, and I should respect their decision.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like I've learned to kind of just like let that go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it was also because like when we did have like gatherings, it was like my family and then there was a bunch of friends over, and it would be like a huge group of people, like sometimes 13 to 20 people, right? Uh,
Mhm.
but so when it was smaller, it did kind of hurt because I had this expectation of what it would look like.
mm.
So sometimes even
Yeah.
letting, yeah, sometimes even letting go of our expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just thinking, those unmet expectations. I know we're talking about the no, but we build things up in our head when we want to execute something or communicate it. And that
Mhm.
no is just like, oh, I have this. The person's like, no. And you're like, it just
Yeah.
destroys everything you had in your mind, right? So,
yeah, the dream dies.
Yeah. It's like someone comes and knocks over your building blocks, and you're like,
yes. Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, exactly.
Yeah.
I think being the therapist kind of helped me with that. Just with
Yeah,
my clients, I try to, I don't have agenda. I have something I prepared by checking with them. Is this something you, just to make sure we're on the same page? And I carry that into relationships, into family too. I have something planned, but I want to present it and see if they're on board or maybe they have something better. I always leave it open. I try not to have a finished product in my mind because yeah, I could really be disappointed if they shut that down. But I have an idea and we could build on it. Do you want to do this with me? Can we do this together? Can you help with this? If they say no, maybe there's something else. Go to the next person. And I always try to hold space for people and just because I want them to do the same for me. So I go from
Yes.
there. I want them so that when I say no, they can hold space for me as well. So I try to give what I
Mhm.
expect other people to give to me as well. So that has helped me a lot just to be able to reframe things like, no, let me check in with them. They're a person. I can't just voluntold. They might
Yeah.
volunteer. Let me see if they're
Yeah.
willing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
100%.
that helps me a lot to communicate it in a way where I want to check in. I have this idea. I don't know if it's the best. Maybe they'll make it better. And oftentimes I find my friends and people around, they actually make it better just
Mm.
by contributing. They'll say, oh, I don't like it that way, but I can add this. And at the end, we actually have a better product. So I like that. I use that a lot.
I like that.
Yeah.
I could speak to it. I know it's relevant, but separate topics. When you're releasing a mobile app, when you're doing web development, mobile development, they have something when they start at the beginning, they test the market to see if people are actually even interested in it.
Mhm.
Mm,
And then as they build, they release a beta to get people to actually test the product itself and say what can be better. So with my technical brain, that came to mind as well. And I like that approach because you're
Mhm.
saying, hey, I'm excited to do this. I have a potential expectation, but it's like, what do you think?
Mhm.
What can we do together? So, Kamle, I love that approach.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I haven't heard that because most people go into it with an expectation. I want to do it this way. Can we do it? No. And then the disappointment kicks in. It's just like, well,
Yeah.
forget it. Right?
100.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that arises sometimes, especially if, for example, there's transitions in the roles. Like, for example, let's just say there was a family member who always did something, and you're now the one carrying the torch, and nobody shows up at your thing, but they used to always show up at that person's thing as
Oh,
well,
Yeah.
right? That definitely can be, a really hard pill to swallow. And I think, going into it and understanding too that it's okay for there to be a bigness of feelings that you're having with that, but at the same time kind of do this, okay, opening it up to what other people think, as well. Like, I think the duality can coexist, right? You can have both of those things at the same time, because that happens a lot too, right? You have somebody, maybe they passed on or whatever it might be, and there's role transference and people are not responding the same way anymore when it's you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think another thing that kind of goes with that disappointment piece, like I typically talk to my clients about the cognitive distortions, right? And we all have these different distortions. But I find with disappointment, mind reading is really big,
Yeah.
right? Where we assume that we know what the other person is thinking,
Yeah.
right? And really and truly, we don't know what the other person is thinking. We can't predict it,
yeah.
right? So if they say no, we can't just assume that it's because they don't like us.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know they always didn't like me, I knew it. When they didn't eat my pie, I knew they had it in for me, right?
They get everybody's pie except mine.
Yeah, everybody. I was like, how come you won't eat my blueberry pie? It's good too, right? I'm not talking from experience.
Um,
Right? But we really don't know. And sometimes when we actually have
So
that
true.
opportunity to talk to someone and say, I was really hurt that you didn't eat my blueberry pie, or you didn't come to my Christmas party, and they're like, oh, I was sick with COVID, and I really couldn't make it, or my pet died, and I really wasn't into seeing people, or whatever. Like, we really just don't know.
We
Yeah.
build up these stories in our mind. How
Yes.
how can people view that differently?
Yeah.
Because we all do it.
100%.
I think the conversation is the key, because even as you were
Yeah.
talking, Felicia, I was said, how often do we go back and have the conversation about how it made me feel that you did not eat the blueberry pie? Or and X, I'm not talking to you. The statement,
I'm gonna cut you off.
Yeah.
years later, we want to talk about, but why does this so and so don't talk? And it's like, oh, we don't even know. And it becomes this thing where it's
Yeah.
like, either we don't even remember it because 20 years have passed, or when we bring it up, it sounds so ridiculous that we did not
Yeah.
talk because you didn't eat my blueberry pie. But all the time, like, it happens in families all the time. And I think that
100.
conversation piece is so important. And I think, us being here, and I mean, we're talking and we're laughing, we're joking about it, but
Yeah.
sometimes that's how the conversation can go too. Like, it doesn't always have to be this serious. So let's sit
Yeah.
down and talk about this, because you know what? I worked so
Mhm.
hard making this pie and you didn't eat it. I saw you eat
Yeah.
everybody else's pie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be like that, right? Like, you can go in and
Yeah.
be like, hey, like, I know it's not a really big thing, but it did bother me when you didn't eat my pie. Was that
Yeah.
right? Like, you can
Yeah.
begin to like normalize the fact that we can have hard conversations, right?
Yeah.
And it's all gonna be all right? So that I don't get
Yeah.
into this whole thing about, oh, it's because she bad mine and he bad mine. They don't like not eating my pie and this, that, I'm not eating their pie. Because we know that's where it can go sometimes.
100%. But then
Yeah.
now we're talking about generational patterns, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that our generations before and before that, and they'll cut off the whole. We don't talk to that family.
Yes.
They didn't eat my pie, so
Yeah.
when we don't talk to them, right?
She's
And
like,
we-
she don't pie no more. That's right. She's like,
And
she
you
don't
know-
bring her pie by me no more.
and that person who didn't eat my pie, their whole family is a cattle thief.
Oh my God.
And then the story
True.
becomes distorted, right? With every
Yeah.
generation, it started off with
And
the
just
pie,
builds and builds.
and it went into like the fact that like she completely burned down the house on Christmas. Everybody's trying to figure out what house it was. Like it just the stories just morph into different things. And
Yes.
like we've talked about, like, you know, it becomes that whole heap under the rug. Everybody's
Yes.
tripping over it every holiday and trying to figure out how it's gonna situate beside the tree. When, you know, I think it's really important that we begin to change that and realize that we can talk about it. We can talk about feelings. It doesn't have to be messy, you know, and both things can coexist in terms of people's, you know, feelings, their thoughts, you know, their own opinions about things. Like we can create room at the table for it all to fit.
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not really a problem, but a lot of people on either side can't handle it. So I know we talk about it, and it's powerful for us to share this information and say we need to be able to open up and we need to be able to receive, especially during the holidays. I feel like a lot of people are either fearful, this person can't handle it, this person's gonna go off. And so I think, as you're saying, a lot of people, you know, this person, I'm not gonna say anything because it's not gonna get anywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
So
Well, you know, you
also too,
start to
you
know
can be
those
that person.
people's capacity, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, that's
I was just
but
going to say sometimes there's a fatigue when you're always having to also be that person who is the mediator. I think it's
yeah,
important to
Yeah.
recognize that piece too. That, you know, again, where you can loop in an ally who can potentially help to take off that role from you. Also, or having your own boundaries around that.
yeah.
But I think there's a knee jerk reaction to confrontation. That just that word confrontation.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I'm not confronting nobody. I don't want to fight nobody, you know.
Yeah.
but but confrontation doesn't have to be this supercharged experience,
Mhm.
right? Even though you can't control how another person takes the conversation, right? But I think sometimes we also have to, in our own mind, we make it so big that, oh, if I say this one thing, or maybe I'll say the wrong thing, and then it's going to trigger the person to go off. And so we have all of these like fears when it comes
Yeah.
to actually bringing these things up.
Mhm. I wonder if we take the word confrontation and instead we just turn it just a little bit and turn it into curiosity.
Oh, I
Right?
like how you did that, with your
You literally turned it.
with your
Right?
pretty
I did that. I
pigtails.
did that.
It just went like that. Okay,
You
all
literally
right.
turned it.
Now I see it.
Like I see.
Mm. Mm.
Right? Like one of the things that
Mm.
when us girls were in school together, one of the assignments they had us do was to actually go and interview different people in our family,
Mm.
Mm,
especially those who've been cut off.
mm,
Oh
mm.
wow.
Wow.
I was like,
That part
where?
was
I was like, where do you go to school?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, what?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And so
Yeah.
part of it was to then take down all of the information that people were saying, gather all of the family stories, write them down, and actually then do a reflective paper on this,
Yeah,
right?
it was a whole
Wow.
year project.
Really? That's
Mhm.
powerful. Oh
And
wow.
I can tell you that the people who felt cut off, I got the most information, family information from them because
Mhm.
they weren't part of the, they weren't drinking the Kool-Aid and part of the
Mm.
official,
Mm.
dialogue that we were putting
Mm.
out. They're the ones who are like, no, this is what happened. They were the black sheep, right? Got cut
Mm.
off. And so it's just looking at these generational patterns. And if we then just bring some curiosity to the table.
I
Mm.
love
So
that.
Mm.
even when we're sitting there with our macaroni pie, you know, hitch up next to Auntie Shirley, right?
Oh, Auntie Shirley's there too.
Auntie
Tell her I
Shirley's
said, tell
there.
her I said hello.
Yes. Right? And we just ask her questions, right? And Auntie
Mm.
Shirley might tell you about, oh, Laverne used to be part of the family, and and we don't really talk to her much anymore. And you find out, okay, maybe I'll go talk to Laverne. and find out what's going on with her.
I
Hi,
love
Auntie
that.
Laverne. I know that I haven't like reached out to you before. I'm, Anella's daughter, or whatever it is. I just wanted to reach out and say hi, and just wanting to know how you're doing, and just starting those conversations. And
Mm.
so it's, how do we break the generational cycles? We choose to not engage in the patterns that have gone on before. Just because everybody else in the last generation were mad at each other, you don't got to be mad at everybody. You can choose to actually like build some new bonds with different people. And that doesn't mean that like there's going to be everybody's okay with it. When people find out, they might be mad, and you're going to have to be okay with that too.
Mm.
But please, I beg you, if
I
you
love
get
that.
the information, don't go call someone and say, "Oh, I want to tell you something."
Yes.
Please,
Start your own.
please. I hear that, Laverne. I talk to Laverne.
Okay.
Be like, I know what you did.
I know what you did last Christmas.
That's
Yeah.
it.
With the blueberry pie.
Oh, man. I love that though. That's powerful.
Good. That's good.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's You're right. It's breaking that cycle, right? And if we keep doing the same thing and we expect a different result, that's total madness,
Mhm.
right? So the only way that we can break those cycles is by doing something different, and that takes a lot of risk sometimes. But we can set a new trend in our family systems if we are intentional about it. But it's not going to be easy all the time either. So,
No.
Yeah, I was thinking about the communication piece earlier.
Mm.
Just like if someone doesn't eat your blueberry pie or like your oxtail or whatever, like just yeah, it might not be because like, a lot of times we might think like, oh, they don't want to eat from us because they don't like us. But I think communicating and having a conversation with the person, you might find out like this person has an allergy, a food allergy, or intolerance. And I know just even well within my family and other Caribbean families, I don't know if you guys are the same, but a lot of times like they didn't have conversations about what illnesses they had.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
I remember my mom saying like her mother had diabetes, but she said I have the sugar, and like they didn't know what that meant, right? And so like
Mm.
they never actually had real conversations about the illnesses that they had. Um, and so yeah, like a lot of times we don't know, so it is important to have those conversations, communicate, and figure out what's going on with that family member. And even the piece if like someone passed away, the person who had the role of like taking care of the whole family, making the food, having the space, they passed away, and then now you take on that role and people don't show up. That whole family is grieving right now. They're feeling sad. They're feeling depressed. They're not going to want to go anywhere. So it really has nothing to do with you, who's
Yeah.
taking on that new role. It's just those people are hurting and they're grieving and they're broken right now. So you have to give them space and time so that it can come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody grieves so differently,
So true.
right? Some people isolate themselves, and
Yeah.
some people want to be close and they want to talk about the memories. Some people are somewhere in between. It doesn't go in a line, it goes up. Sometimes you're okay, and some days you just don't want to see nobody, right? But it's about like holding each other where you're at, right?
Yeah. On the holidays too, I feel statistically a lot of people pass away during the holidays, and I think it brings in that memory for it's fresh for them every season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're used to someone being around every year and they're no longer there, that that's so hard,
Hmm.
you know?
That first holiday without them is
Mm.
so hard, right? And just being able to figure out for yourself what you need to go through it is key.
Yeah.
Do you need to be around people? Do you need to be by yourself? What's best? How do you need to grieve? And allow yourself like the just the space to change your mind too. Because you might decide that you want to actually be around people, and at the last minute you're like, I can't do it. And so it's okay, whatever you're feeling in that season, it's okay as long as you have someone to talk to and you're not isolating.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you know someone else who's grieving and it's not you, just rather than giving them a sweeping statement like, oh, they're in a better place, or oh, you got
Don't do
to
that.
just bounce
Yeah,
back,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
don't do, just ask them what they need. Like, how can I support you right now? What is it? And if they don't know, that's okay too. It's like, all right, well, I'm here, and but sometimes I think that we get this awkwardness that we have to try to make them feel better, but it's okay for them to feel. It's okay for them to be in the slumps, especially if it's their first holiday, or it's maybe not even the first, maybe it's the 10th holiday and it's still hard for them, right? But it's okay. We don't have to try to take them out of it before their time.
And there's power in presence, and we forget that. You don't need to speak. There's just power in presence. If you're a close friend,
Yes.
whoever it is,
Yeah.
they want to see you but not talk. Nothing wrong with that. The power of presence is something we take for granted. Just being there. What do you want to do? I don't know. I just want to be. I just want to be there.
100.
So
If they can't come to the dinner, pack them a plate and put it in front of their door.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I left your plate outside.
Mhm.
We miss you. A
That's it.
text.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I think, maybe just to segue a little bit, because I'm thinking about a little bit of our, our young folks who, all over the gram, and it's cuffing season, and
It's what season?
cuffing season. Somebody,
Like
everybody has somebody.
Oh,
oh,
They
Yeah.
don't have somebody. And
Yeah.
you all are aging yourselves right now.
I didn't know.
My young listeners, you're there. It's hip.
my my
The young things.
my eldest called me Unc last week. I was very offended. I said, no, man, no.
Like that because I've had a lot of my like young folks, and I'm not just not just teens, but like even those kind of like middle-aged folks where it's like, oh, I'm going into another season and like I don't have somebody, and everybody is kind of popping up now and doing their hard and soft launches, and I have nobody to do that with, and kind of like navigating the season when whoever's laughing at me, but
So she's like hard and soft launch. She's like, what does that mean? No, I was like, I saw that. I was like, no.
I mean, like
a little
when you like
translation coming at the bottom.
when you're on Instagram and you just show the two hands, nobody sees the face. That's soft launch.
Yeah.
The hard launch is when you kind of show the person and you know that there's an actual person there. So everybody's on the gram doing all these things, and I think it is important for us to talk a little bit about like just those pressures that come from social media for those who feel like here I am entering into another year, because that's the other thing that the holidays represent, right? A whole year has gone. There have been some things that you maybe were hoping to realize or see come to fruition, and I'm about to cross over into another year and it hasn't happened yet again, right? So like, how do you navigate those pressures that might arise?
I think we're prioritizing things that are to some degree out of our control. What is in our control is how we take care of ourselves, our well-being in mind, body, and spirit. Think about what you want for your life and then continue to pursue that. I think if we put that on a pedestal, then it impacts us more emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When that will come, when that has to come. And also give yourself a break from social media. I know.
We talked about that earlier. I was like, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
It's
I like that.
It really tells you things. What you see on social media, a chunk of it is not real.
Yeah.
People portray the best. You're not going to see someone going. So I mean, you see everything on social media, but people show you what they want you to see. The reality is behind a lot of those smiles, we are all going through it to a certain degree. You need to prioritize things that are in your control. And I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that feeling the grief, right? Because I think that idea of a whole other year has almost passed and it didn't. That whatever the expectation was, the dream was, the hope was that you went into the new year and you made your like resolution that this was going to be the year that blah blah blah, and it's now December and it never happened, right?
Yeah.
Feel the grief, right?
Yes.
Experience the grief, sit with the grief, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
Disappointment is hard, right? Rejection, if that's what came up, that's hard, right? What about the grief of like your own expectations of yourself that you
Mm.
never attained?
Yeah.
I thought by this point I would have fill in the blanks,
So true.
and you weren't able to do it. You weren't able to actualize it. And so that comes with its own grief. And it's important to just hold space for that, because I think so often in the world that we live in, we're like, we go, 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 and then numb the feelings of
Yes.
anxiety and discomfort when they come up, right? And lots of different people have different ways of numbing it.
Mm. Yeah.
But it's so important to recognize that if we try to numb it, it will come out sideways in very weird ways. And so instead, sit with the grief that you're feeling, sit with the disappointment that you're feeling, right? I'm disappointed in the fact that I just didn't do it. I said I was going to do it, I did not do it.
Yeah.
Said I was gonna like stop having blueberry pie every day, and I stop having blueberry pie every day, right? So whatever it is for you, it's just important to just sit with the grief.
Yeah. And I think being kind to yourself in the midst of that, right? Because I think with that, we're so hard on ourselves. And as you know, we're our own worst critic many, many times.
Yes.
And so just really be kind to yourself. It's okay, right? If like a relationship ended and you're grieving it, that's okay. Like, you know, I won't say a sweeping statement like there's more fish in the pond, even though I really want to, but I won't say it, because we're not doing that today. But but
I
just
love
sit
it.
with it. Sit with the disappointment, and it's okay. Feel your feelings, right? Or if you wanted to start your own business and it didn't work out, that's okay. Like, sit with that. You're not a disappointment. You're not less than. You are good enough. When you're battling with these negative core beliefs about yourself, speak truth over it. Be tender. Be
Yes.
kind, just like you would to other people. You know.
And you know what, too, when you feel that disappointment or that grief, the positive part of sitting in it and actually being like, okay, I'm going through it, it's okay. It means that within you, you still have the dreams. The dreams are still alive. It means that you still desire to pursue it. I think in some weird way, when you stop feeling that way, it means you've given up.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And name it to tame it, right?
yes.
Name the feelings, name the emotion, right? Talk to a friend about it. You don't have to carry this burden alone.
Mhm.
Reach out to a friend and just like be like, you know how we did vision boards like last year, this time? None of the things on my vision board came to pass. And just be able to commiserate and laugh about it and move on
Yes.
from it, right?
Yeah.
It's in community that this gets so much easier.
Yes. Oh, community is huge.
You're absolutely right, Roxanne. All of that can be hard in this Instagram boss era.
Yes.
Mhm.
This is the thing. We look at the lives other people portray on Instagram and we're disappointed because we don't have it. And so it impacts our lives. It impacts the disappointment we have is I wanted to be like this streamer. I started something and no one came and no one viewed it. Once again, you have to stop looking at what other people are doing. You're the only version of you that God created. And therefore, you have your path, and disappointments are going to happen. It doesn't mean you're supposed to give up. So,
And it's funny, the thing that we always like to look at the grass is greener on the other side. So the person's this huge blogger, Instagrammer, they're very successful, or YouTuber, whatever, TikToker, whatever you want to call it, right? And yet they're probably, if they were to look at our lives, they'd probably have something that they would wish that they had too, right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's our connection with our family, maybe they don't have that. We already know, even though money is nice and we need money, but money doesn't solve everything, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I would like a bag of money if you're listening right now.
$10.
When did, when did,
And you have a and you and you
Follow us.
and you have a bag of money that you'd like to give away, I will gladly receive that.
I've seen memes where it's just like, Lord, please let my next trial be $5 million.
We will receive that. But we also know that, there's other things too that we can really be grateful for. And,
Yeah.
money can't buy everything.
Yeah.
It can't buy happiness. It can buy a yacht, but it can't buy, it can't buy connection, like authentic connection, right?
I mean, it's that point where the grass is green where you water it, right? So this idea
Yeah.
of prioritizing what is important to you, if that is boundaries, if that be taking a step back, if that is engaging, if that be, kind of reimagining, what the next year would look like, and kind of, or even going back to that vision board and seeing, these are the things that maybe I attempted this year to get there. These things didn't work. Do I want to tweak it? Maybe it's a matter of reintroducing yourself to yourself, right? Like whatever that might look like, but the grass is going to be green where you choose to water it, right?
100.
And you can't be trying to throw your hose over and be upset if your land is parched, right? So
Mm.
it is really important to kind of pay attention to, especially this season, what it is that you're watering, because as you transition to the next year, that's essentially what is going to flourish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're hearing the comments. Roxanne said, all of that can be hard in this Instagram boss era. And she's absolutely correct, right? A lot of the youth that I talk to, I actually tell them the grass is greener. When they say the grass is greener on the other side, I say sometimes the grass over there is astroturf.
That's true.
It's
That's true.
true.
Yes.
That is
It's
true.
very true.
Right? And so it's like you're looking at other people's highlight reels, but you're not actually recognizing that for yourself, you have value, right? I like what you said before. God made you unique, right? And so there's something that you need to then be bringing out into the world. There's a message. There's even if it's one sentence, one word that you give, and it brings hope to whoever it's meant to or intended to impact. It could be one person, and that's like your whole like purpose, to just impact that one person who during the holiday season they felt like this was it and they couldn't go on, but you gave that one word, and you didn't have 50 million subscribers, but they heard you in the middle of all of that noise, and that was the one thing that they needed to keep going. You'll never know your impact, right?
Oh, true.
Because we're so finite in how we look at the world and look at things. And so it's super important to just recognize that you can't like measure your life's impact in likes and followers.
So true.
Yep.
Yeah. Kunle, I feel like you have something to say.
We feel you thinking,
Yeah,
Conley.
I feel it. A story or an insight.
Yeah.
Come on,
I
Kunle.
feel it,
I
Conley.
just want to echo what is being said. Like what we see on social media, there's so much pressure,
Yeah.
so much pressure, especially for the younger ones. You don't want to feel left out because FOMO, fear of missing out. But you need to, you're comparing you see the full of your life. You see your pains, your struggles, your challenges, your joys, and then you're comparing that to the highlights of someone else's life, which is not fair. It's
Yeah.
not fair comparisons. If you truly want to compare, investigate their life, know where they live, know their sorrows, their pain, because everybody has those. Everybody has challenges that they go through. And sometimes those people you see that seems to be doing well on Instagram, if you get to know their kind of problems and you say, let's exchange, give me your problem, I give you like, I'll keep mine, thank you. So yeah, we don't want to let those things weigh us down. Social
Mm-hmm.
media is not real life. So we want to connect with people in our life. We want to be kind to ourselves. We don't need to do any pressure. If you don't want to take any pajamas photos, you don't need to compete with everybody taking pajamas photos. You can be yourself. You can create
Yeah,
new traditions. You can be kind to yourself. You can take it
yeah,
slow. You could
yeah.
watch other people's stories if you want, but don't let it get into your mind.
That's right.
Cut it off. Do other things. Engage with life. Don't just be a
Mm.
spectator. Yeah.
Well,
How
Yeah.
do we avoid comparison in our own families?
Mm.
Because on the holidays, oh, how come you can't be like your big brother
Yeah.
or your younger sister or
mm,
your cousin? How do we navigate comparison?
Yeah. Comparison is tough in families. It comes up a lot in different layers.
yeah,
Why
Mm-hmm.
aren't you doing this? And then as people get older, have their own families, have children. Oh, how old is your daughter? 18 months. Oh, this one is 21 months. How come he's working? Your child is not working. You start
yes,
comparing kids, and it can be tough. Um,
Yes.
so we need to kind of be prepared and be able to
Mm.
first be comfortable in our own skin, know that we're not in
Yes.
competition with anyone. And sometimes some of these are older parents or grandparents might say these things. It might be hard to correct them, but just know that's old people talk. I'm not gonna take that in. I'm not gonna let that upset me. And I'm not gonna, because of that, hate my grandmother. It's just sometimes you could correct them, but don't take it's their generation. Things are
yeah,
different now.
so true.
Maybe you have a boy, your boy you has dreads, and they're like, oh, why are you having dreads? Don't take it to heart. It's their generation. You're a new generation. So we need to feel comfortable with ourselves, set boundaries where we can set boundaries, but we don't want to take those things to heart.
Yeah,
When you're playing soccer, you're on the field, you're professional football, you don't take all the comments of the spectators. Spectators say, Ronaldo, you should kick. If Ronaldo was listening to every spectator, it wouldn't be Ronaldo.
yes,
So only
so
listen
true.
to your
Ah,
teammates, people who are
I
on the
love that.
field, who are playing with
Yes.
you, and don't let any comments get to you. Yeah.
I love that. That whole idea. It's
Yes.
true because if you took in everything that everybody said, it will
Mm-hmm.
not be who you are, right? And you're a star player on the field of whatever
Mm-hmm.
that might look like for you,
So true.
in your own right. So, I mean, absolutely embrace the fact that you are the Ronaldo. Maybe everybody does not see it. That's not your problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And be honest about your family dynamics, right? I saw a meme last night, and it was on Instagram, and this girl was walking through her house, this British girl, walking through her house, and she's pointing out all of the pictures of her sister in the house, and then all of the pictures of her and her younger brother. And there's like literally, it's like a shrine to her sister in this house,
Oh
and
wow.
barely any photos of her and her younger brother, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
in
Oh
her
wow.
bedroom, the baby picture on the mantle.
It's her
What?
sister.
Yep, yep. And that's the thing, because in some families, right, if we're being honest and real, in some families, the parents do pit the kids against each other. They
Mm,
already started that comparison very early. So those kids in that family then feel insecure, and they feel like, well, the only person that my parent loves is, or highlights is my sibling, right? So for those people, it's just harder. It's harder to
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like let it roll off your back.
yeah,
People find someone to talk to about it, because
Mm-hmm.
there's not everything that you can kind of like manage on your own, right? This is where a
so
therapist
true.
can come in, a life coach can come in, and just help you to navigate through some of those challenging experiences that you might have when you go back home for the holidays, right?
Mm,
So,
yeah,
It may not always be intentional, right? Like I will say, as a village auntie, there's a lot of village aunties and nieces and nephews that I have the privilege of, being around. And I remember sitting with one of the, middle children of my, and we're going through my phone, and there's so many pictures of her older sister, right? Because she was the first one. So many pictures of the older sister. And she turns to me and she's like, Auntie Shanique, you have no pictures of me. I'm like, that's not true. That cannot be
oh
true, right?
no.
But it's one of those things that sometimes is I had one. I will say that, but still wasn't enough. But
Jeez, Auntie
sometimes it's
Shanique.
not the things that are like
Mm,
intentional, but it still
yeah,
impacts, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
sometimes with the family dynamics, yes, the older child kind of got it all,
they
or
got
the
every,
middle
yeah,
child kind of got it all, and the poor middle child is kind of like turning and being like, "You only have one picture of me, really?"
It's okay,
Right?
Maddie.
And
I
it's
know,
not
I'm feeling it.
intentional, right? Intentional.
You okay, Matt?
I'll be okay.
Check in with our middle children here. Are you guys okay?
Oh, there's my brother right there. Oh no, he left. See?
You scared him off.
That's it.
If
Oh,
I triggered something, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's my internet. It's my internet. It's like cutting out.
Light
Oh,
response. That's what it was.
oh man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to be secure in ourselves, and when you're, regardless, people will always have something to say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And oh, how come you can't be like so and so? And then when you're doing well in your career, I did always know you were gonna make it.
Yeah.
Right? So just really learning to be secure in yourself and really learning to be confident in yourself, right? I think that's so important.
And having a community that will definitely hold
Yeah,
each other accountable, but lift you up too.
exactly.
100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're back to community again. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm?
It's
And
important.
as we go through the holiday, I think it's important to also always check in with our capacity. We have certain jar we carry. A lot of us have so much responsibility, so much stress. Just kind of check in with yourself. I know before you go to this event, make sure you create enough capacity in
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're full to the brim, any slight thing could trigger you, explosion, and then new
Mm.
black sheep again. Or you give them more things to talk about next
Yes.
Christmas.
Yeah.
We want to
So
create
true.
capacity in yourself. If you're going,
Yes.
if you need to take a nap, take a nap. If you need
Yes.
to eat some goat meat before you go,
Oh
take care of
yes.
yourself before you
Mm.
go there, and make sure you have capacity to have fun, social
Yes.
battery, energy, some comments off handle, so it doesn't really stick.
Yeah.
Just knock it off, and you still have capacity when you're done, so you're not full to the brim and overflowing because you're
Yes.
stressed.
Oh
That
man.
is
That's
so
so
well
true.
said.
Yeah.
That is so well said. So, mashup crew, if you could leave one last thing with our Love Bay family tonight, what would it be?
I would say have healthy boundaries, and
Mm,
definitely communicate with each other. Yeah.
mhm,
Yes.
I would say offer yourself lots and lots of grace, right?
Yes.
Give yourself compassion because it's not easy, especially in the world that we live in with everything happening around the world, right? It's not an easy season for anyone right now. And so just giving yourself so much grace and compassion, know your limits, know how much capacity you have, and enter into those different activities that you have planned with lots of grace for you and grace for the other people too.
mhm,
I love that.
And I'll say don't put undue pressure on yourself.
mhm,
Yeah.
Go with the flow, whatever feels natural, whatever you think you need, check in with yourself constantly, do what you need to do for yourself, and let go of the pressure. Everybody will be okay. All the expectations, they'll be all right. Take care of yourself.
mhm.
I love that.
I think mine would be, giving yourself permission to be, and then,
Mm,
fill in the blank, whatever that might be for you. And then also find your own fun in the season, right? Maybe that is with others. Maybe it's about kind of, checking out some things, in the city nearby you or whatever that might be. But, reevaluate what fun might look like for you in the midst of all of the hustle, the bustle, the tensions, and all of that.
mhm.
I love that. I would say find out what you need in this season. Reflect on the last 11 months as we enter the 12th month and find out what you really need in this time off.
Mm,
Mhm.
and go do that. Restore yourself if you need it. Everyone's going to be okay. And if people get upset, let them get upset. If you're focusing on your well being, your mental health, and restoring yourself, then that is the best decision you made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my words or takeaways was sometimes you just need to show up, and sometimes you don't realize the impact that you have when you're there.
I love that.
So during this season, you may think, I'm like, you know what, no one's gonna miss me if I don't show up to this event or whatever. Not to saying that you have to show up to everything. It's like, but
Yeah.
uh, you know, your presence is always wanted. So I think that's, and move with that intentionality.
I like that.
Yes, macaroni
That
pie
is
and
the
goat
I
best.
meat
agree.
can fix
I was gonna
anything.
say I don't think anyone doesn't like goat meat. So
Honestly,
I never
honestly.
heard goat meat ruin a party. So I don't
Me
know.
Definitely
It's
not.
neither.
true. It's
Me
true.
neither.
No.
Sorry
No,
to all the vegans out there, but
I don't know. It sounds like they're missing out. I don't, that's all right.
Listen, you do you, but we're gonna have goat meat. Sorry.
and it's gonna be
No.
lush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They can have their breadfruit. They can have their breadfruit. They're good.
man.
Exactly. Exactly. I still want a piece of the breadfruit too, though. But okay.
Oh,
And I would say it's okay if someone doesn't eat your blueberry pie, right? If they say no, it doesn't mean that they don't love you, right? We don't want to mind read, right? If we don't know, we just don't know because it could be something else,
oh.
right?
Mhm.
All right. Well, Love Bay family, thank you for spending your evening with us for this powerful mashup hour where Baba Shop Tuesday and Real Talk collided for one unfiltered, honest, and heart shifting conversation. To our incredible panel, Matthew, Kunle, Andrew, Gavin, Charlene, and Shanique. Thank you. And Roxanne, even though Hey! Thank you for pouring into our community with transparency,
Thank
wisdom,
you.
and heart. And to you, our listeners, thank you for showing up, leaning in, and for making space for these conversations. If tonight's episode spoke to you, share it with someone who might need it. And, before we sign off, a quick reminder next week is our final live show of 2025, and we are closing out the year with nothing but fire. We'll be joined by our lovely commenter tonight, Roxanne Francis. For
Alright.
a conversation entitled The Walls We Build Why We Don't Let People Help Us.
Mm,
If receiving support is hard, if you tend to carry everything on your own, if it feels safer to stay strong than to lean on others, this episode is for you. So trust me, you don't want to miss it. So if you're not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, Love Bay Afterbeat and Talk Radio, please hit subscribe. And thank you so much again for spending your night with us. I'm your host, Felicia Fishoff, registered psychotherapist. And thank you for trusting me to be your host, Love Bay family. Until next time, peace out.
peace.
Merry Christmas.